Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises, honors, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Ha-Rakak-Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone that rule well and still do. Salutations to the Akim on the highways and the hedges and the four corners, preaching his word with truth and sincerity. And Shalom to all you sincere listeners. We're just meditating in the spirit. Watch a couple of apostles and elders videos, getting edified. A couple of Akim's videos, getting edified. Came across Apostle Tahar video. He said to be prophesying about the mark of the beast. So I'm gonna do just that, Lord's willing, just to be edifying, because it's really right around the corner. As far as it being made mandatory, because it's already here. If you have been paying attention to news and current events in America, we already outside of America, you got about 6,000, what is that, 5,000 to 6,000 Sweden people in Sweden got chipped. But you know, what is that? You so-called white people, biblically known as the Edomites, they're not important. What's important is the children of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. God only cares about you if you take that chip, whether or not you take that chip, rather. Actually, we don't give two shits about you if you take that chip. You better not take that chip. But just in case you don't know what it is, because if you've been paying attention, certain people feel that it's Christianity, certain people feel that it's embargo, whatever the fuck they think, it's irrelevant, because there's enough evidence, especially now, that it's a physical mark. You know, the first people to do it, to my knowledge, well, to make it official, was a company in Wisconsin, 3 Square Markets, and before them it was a family. I forgot the name of them, but they're a fake Jewish family in Florida, you know, from the tribe of Amalek. So I'm gonna just get straight to it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And the image of that beast is talking about this empire that you see right here. This is the rebirth of that Greco-Roman Empire. Thus, if you do history, the word Renaissance, you know, Renaissance means the rebirth. And it was the rebirth of what? The rebirth of when these stinky, pale-faced crackers known as Edomites stole somebody's history, Japheth's history, called themselves Greeks, because they're not even the original ones. Japheth is. And Japheth is a dark-skinned man. It was a dark-skinned people of color. They weren't Israelites, but they were people of color still. Verse 16 is the point. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And real quick, we're going to look up that word mark, because it's not the same mark that's in the book of Ezekiel, you know, a mark of exemption from judgment, because that word mark in Ezekiel is Hebrew, and it's Tawah. This word mark is Greek in this particular precept. And as you can see, it says charagma. If you look up the definition, it's a stamp or an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. You know, the mark branded upon horses, thin carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images. And that's the key one is right there in the A. Of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. You see? And you can see right here, it says, that they were supposed to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. We're going to go back into that word in the next precept, and as you can see, it's still charagma, and it still means the same thing. But if you go to the root word of it, the etymology, you get the word karax, and that means a pale or stake, a palisade or rampart, pales between which earth and, no, basically the first one, a pale or stake, a palisade, something that cuts into your flesh, an incision, you know? Yeah, see? root word etymology from carasso, to sharpen to a point, acting through the idea of scratching. That's why if you've seen on various news articles, whether it be alternative media or regular media, in order to get the RFID microchip, you have to have it implanted into your skin, you know, and they use a syringe. And the syringe is what? It's a needle that cuts into your flesh, you know. Matter of fact, what is that? Let me see this. Go to this guy just recently popped up out of the blue. His name is Carl Sanders, you know, and he was a co-inventor of the microchip. You know, here you go. Carl Sanders helped design the first implantable microchip. See, engineer of the original RFID chip tells truth. So you see the testimony of Carl Sanders, inventor of the microchip. He's a co-inventor. You see, the mark of the beast. Because when you watch the interview, it's a good interview. I recommend that you watch it. When you watch it, you clearly see that he didn't know what he was doing until, well, maybe he did know what he was doing, but he really found out that it was implanted. It was already written that he was going to do this once he read the scriptures. And once he read Revelation, and then he looked up the word mark in Revelation, the 13th chapter, the one I just read. He said, "Oh my God!" And then he even said in the interview that he was never a Christian. He was never religious. But after that, he became a Christian because little did he know that he fulfilled prophecy. See? And let me see this. I'm gonna go back. This is verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. When you look that up, that's Chastig. I believe that's Karak stigma. But either way you want to slice it, that is the mark of the beast. Not the barcode, but is the image. And the actual physical image that's supposed to be implanted into you is that RFID microchip. You know, as far as wisdom goes, when it says that the guys, the number of the beast is a man, and his number is 666. This guy right here, he's another helper, a developer of the RFID microchip. This is the wisdom. You see, George Joseph Laurer developed the Universal Product Code, commonly known as the barcode, in 1973. As an engineer at IBM, he was asked to develop the pattern used for the Universal Product Code. See? And if you see, his name has 6 letters in all 3 of his names, 6, 6, and 6. So he was a helper as well. And he even said it himself in an interview that he invented the mark of the beast. And that goes against the scriptures. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 26, 28. Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. There you go. And the Lord said you are not supposed to make any cuttings in your flesh. And even though it says it's for the dead, yeah, you can equate Esau with the dead, because he's going to get put to death very soon. And he's going to get taken out of power, but before he gets taken out of power, he's going to come down with great wrath, like pertaining to the book of Revelation. See? Esau is nothing but a copycat, because everything that he does is related back to the scriptures. And it's just the truth. And to prove it is the book of Deuteronomy. This is the second book of the law, chapter 15, verse 17. Because this pertains to the Israelites. Like, say if an Israelite worked for another Israelite, you work for your master for 7 years, and then after 7 years, say if you wanted to become a lifetime employee, then he would have to do this. This is verse 17. Then thou shalt take an awl and thrust it through his ear unto the door, and he shall be thy servant forever. And also unto thy maidservant thou shalt do likewise. So yeah. So if somebody wanted to, work for you in ancient times, or you wanted to work for someone for life, after 7 years, you're supposed to take an awl and put it through their ear. Kind of like when you get an earring, you know. And Esau's trying to imitate that, like the Apostle Ramrod said, very edifying as well, because he hit the nail right on the head. That's how I wasn't gonna make this long. This is what's going to happen to you if you take this chip. And I'm going to close with this. The book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. See, if you look up that word mark real quick before I finish, just to make sure, he's talking about the same mark. See, charagma. Of the mark stamped on the forehead or in the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. So it's impossible for the mark of the beast to be Christianity or an embargo. You can't buy or sell with that. See, you can't put Christianity and embargo on your right hand or your forehead unless you get a tattoo, and that goes against the scripture Leviticus that I just pulled up. See, so going back. Verse 10, if you get this mark in your right hand or your forehead, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture, into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of... And you're going to look up that word indignation. Because clearly the Lord is saying that if you get this mark, you're going to get the wrath of the Most High. You're going to get the cup. You're going to get a cup filled with the wrath of the Most High without mixture. It's just like if you used to drink like Patron straight, or Hennessy straight, or tequila straight. Patron is tequila, but no chaser, no ice. Straight. You're going to burn. Look up that word indignation. There you go. And it says anger, the natural disposition, temper, character. Movement or agitation of the soul, impulse, desire, any violent emotion, but especially anger, wrath, indignation. Anger exhibited in punishment, hence used for punishment itself, of punishment inflicted by magistrates. Really, we want to focus in on the anger exhibited in punishment, hence used for punishment itself. That's what indignation is. The Lord is going to be angry at any of his children that receive this mark of that beast, because basically you're saying that you want this goddamn Edomite to worship over you. I mean, you want this Edomite over you so you can worship him. Man, and that's going off, because there's only one true power, and that's Yahweh, and that's the Almighty Yahweh. That we learn about him through his son Yahweh Shai. Verse 11, and the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Yeah, so there you go. Point blank period. You get any type of incision, you're done for. And just like the apostles and elders say, I wouldn't tempt the Most High. Like get the chip and then pluck it out in the last end, just to see if the Lord will forgive you. I would just straight up cold turkey not take it, you know. And it tells you that some people are gonna have to die for this. And you're gonna get that, and I'm gonna close. The book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. Yeah, so there you go. The Lord allowed John, the revelator John, to see all of these men that stood valiantly and stiffly for the name of the Lord, and also to deny this devil and his mark. See? So Only time will tell who the Lord's going to choose for this. And I know I said I was going to get that and close out, but the Spirit is on. So I'm going to just get this real quick. Get this in the Apocrypha. It's in the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16. We're going to go to the 73rd verse. I'm going to close with this. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. As the gold in the fire, yeah. And that's part of it, you see? Not to mention that that chip being made mandatory, that's also written in the scriptures as well. Because that, like Apostle Tahar says, that's one of the major, if not the most major prophecy that has to come to pass before the Lord comes to return. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, and the word patience means long suffering, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to them that dwell upon the earth. Yeah, and behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Yeah. And the hour of temptation is when that mark of the beast, that RFID microchip is going to be made mandatory. It's going to be made mandatory. It's already here. It's already in your phones. It's already in your car. It's already in your debit card, if you will. They already tested it with your animals, you know. And when you look up certain interviews, like with Rabbi Finkelstein, the Jews, they look at the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They look at you like goyim. The word goyim means cattle, you know. So you're no different than these animals that they chip to them, you know. So Lord's willing, you won't take that chip. And Lord's willing, you was edified. I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone, Shalom to the elect.